This program is brought to you by FanDuel, where we give sports fans the chance to win every day.
Pelicans lose another game, but it ain't all bad. Let's talk about it.
First took away. Dance with this. Get your money's worth now.
Welcome to another episode of Propels Talk. I am your host, Chris Connor. I think we got some people on the way. We're going to see if Chaz pull up. I know 5 pulling up, and we'll see who else from the Propels Talk show is available. But if not, got myself and we got y'all here in the chat, man. So y'all hit the like button now. You ain't got to do it later. Shout out to the good people that support us here. Sunshine, Taz, FanDuel, Scott, Vigner, as always, Game Time app, and John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. And like I always say, nothing loses like a Pelican. Chat, what's up with y'all? All right, let's see. How many losses in a row is that, y'all? Josh, no, I'm just starting the show. We got some people on the way. They just run a little late. So that's 5 in a row again. Jeez. 5 in a row. 6. All right, Chung. All right, so I mean, let's talk here. The Pelicans had three players at 20 points. The whole starting lineup in double figures. Derek Queen, 12, 4, and 5. Sadiq Bey with 20. Jeremiah Fierce, 27 and 6. Really good, strong first half. I think he was 12, 6, and 6 to start. Trey Murphy, 21, 7, and 8. Bryce McGowan's fan here. 15 and 5. Another strong first half, good third quarter as well. 8 and 6 in Carlos' return. Hawkins with 7 and 3 off the bench. Nothing really for Micah Peavy tonight, and Jose had 13 points left the game with an injury. We will keep an eye on that. So let's see. Oh, we got you only had 3 players. What up, Wahab? You only had 3 players that made 1 or more threes. Finished the game with 7 threes made for the third time this year. 3 losses, man. You know, eventually it becomes a numbers game, man. And you know, you took 25 threes, but I mean, a lot of them came in the fourth quarter when it was too late. 7 for 25. Appreciate that. Hold on. Appreciate that, dog, for the update there. But, you know, the Timberwolves make 15 threes. You make 7. It's always going to be a numbers game. But I do think overall the Pelicans played a solid game considering the talent. What up, 5?
What's poppin', dog?
What's up with you, bro?
Shit, man, trying to be a daddy in this world while watching the Pelicans, man, it's a tough job trying to juggle, you know, 4 things at once. Yeah,
the Pelicans and being a dad, it's not for the weak, bro. But that's why you.
Shit, it's hard when these motherfuckers not good. You know what I mean? Not my kids, they all right. They just everybody running on with their head cut off. My 3 kids and the Pelicans.
Richard Dollar, how do we hold Ant to 11 points? They trapped the hell out of Ant.
Hell yeah.
What up, Chaz?
Well, what up?
Oh man, yeah, they trapped the hell out of Ant, man. They forced others to beat them, and look, I mean, Julius Randle at 28, and they got contributions from a lot of other guys, from Clark to Reed. Gobert had 15. DiVincenzo had his 15. You saw Jay McDaniels have a few nice plays, particularly in that second half. That's what they're supposed to do. But I mean, y'all, as we welcome Chaz to the show. I mean, 5, I'll start with you, man. I mean, look, bro, when you 3 and 29, 3 and 21,
3 and 20.
At some point, at some point, man, you just I'm not even focused on the win anymore because I don't expect it to come. You know what I'm saying? I'm not expecting a win to arrive. So I'm trying to find things in the midst of these games that are entertaining or that are building blocks. Now, if the Pelicans choose to actually use the right path with these building blocks, a whole different story. But 5, I want to start with you, man. In the midst of another loss, game was competitive for the most part. Timberwolves going, I think, a 15-0 run, and that pretty much was the game. But what did you see tonight that, second game in a couple nights here against Minnesota The Pelicans for the most part kind of held their own.
Yeah, man, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Like, I would pay to go watch this team for 3 quarters. Like, I would for 3 quarters. That's all they're giving you. Whether it's the third or the fourth quarter, that's usually the thing that's in the air. But I I love the ATOs from James Borrego tonight. There were some plays that I was like, oh wow, that's super creative. Like I think it was like a back screen. It ended up being for Jose. It turned into a wide open 3 for Bryce McGowan. He ends up missing it. But like things like that intrigue me a lot. The I think it was like almost like a double drag, but it ended up being inverted for Hawk to come off a pin down. It ends up being that's the lob to Carlo, but the play that starts it was magnificent to me. Like that's the stuff that intrigued. Like these are building blocks for me. And again, Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. Like I think they're finding like this cohesion between each other, as they both try to make themselves valuable. For Jeremiah, the game is slowing down for him. I think he's making better decisions as of like let's say the last week or so. And again, this is 23 games into his NBA season. Things like this, in my opinion, are happening earlier than planned, right? Like it should start to slow down, but he's taking it to a different level. I think he's understanding his gears a lot more. But yeah, man, I'm kind of excited about this team.
Chaz, man, y'all be sure to tap in with Chaz during the live stream. Pretty much streaming the entire game from start to finish. And then working OT here with us on the 3 and 20 team, man. That's dedication, man. Same kind of question, Chaz. Yeah. Delusion.
Delusion.
Yeah. In the midst of this 3 and 20, the frustrations that come with it, the lack of talent, the lack of shooting, the kind of the future of so many of a few veterans that are hurt right now, maybe some that are playing right now, kind of up in the air. We don't know how those situations are going to end. But what have you been seeing, like a game like tonight, a game like Tuesday? Are you seeing anything in the middle of all the chaos, all the losses, all the negative things that is like, I can buy into that if they choose the right path, building, going down the line here. It could be a player. It don't have to be coaching. It could be could be a style. Like
man, some cool ass sneakers out there. I've been seeing. I think from the standpoint of all right, to focus on the positive, because I don't think the Pelicans situation is really that bad, honestly. I think it's overstated. But I think you're getting answers. I think that I see what Jeremiah Fears is and what he could potentially be. But I think that question mark going bigger and bigger with Derek Queen. And I think they not really, and I think that's a troublesome thing, because it's like I'm not seeing him maximized enough. What I am seeing is a guy that should be on the floor with another center, right? But I'm not necessarily seeing him maximized enough. In the rotation questions, I have a problem with. Like, to me, I think this is a one and done situation for James Borrego. I don't think he'll be back. But one of the reasons why I think that he shouldn't be back is mainly because I see some of the same mistakes being made. Like, what I want to see guys being asked more to do more. Because to me, the game not ended, but there was a point where Derek Queen had a couple good plays, comes out the game, right? Jose comes into the game. You're like, oh fuck, here we go. So the lead immediately evaporates, right? Everybody who was in the chat, they was like, oh shit, here come Jose. And the lead, I think they had like a 4-point lead, might have been 6-point lead. Lead immediately evaporates. That don't mean Jose didn't hit a couple big shots, but certain things I'm still seeing, like seeing Jose with too much, with a little too much rope. I hate seeing this Jose and Hawkins playing at the same time. I don't like to see this, and I don't like to see the Fears and Jose backcourt. I thought McGowan's had a couple points, had a couple nice shots, drives to the rim. He just missed point blank layups, wide open shots. Yeah. He's missed a lot. I don't like not having Trey in the game at the top of the fort. I think the energy is just so lethargic when Carlo's not out there. And with Queen, again, well, what up, Lito? Shout out to Lito, man. Shout out to Lito. Shout out to everybody in the chat also. Peace to y'all, man. I think with Queen, again, bro, you got to get him the ball. You got to get him the ball early so he feels involved and feels like active. Not that Rudy is the most ideal matchup, right? Yeah. But all right, end of the game, prime example, end of the game. You down about 10. I think you're down, let's just say 10. All right, you finally get Trey back into the game. Cool. Jose's hurt. Motherfucker stepped on his arm. He's out the game. Bam. He's out. Cool. Whatever. You bring him back into the game. He's hurt. And you brought him back into the game at a 10-point game after you just saw the lead evaporate with the man on the court. It's just weird. Like, it's just too much weird shit. And then Jose is calling for a foul the whole time he's hurt. No one sees it, apparently. He got to go and foul himself to get out the game. He runs straight back to the locker room. Get Jose an Academy Award. And I just think the coaching they're just not understanding winning time.
So I mean, let me ask both of you guys here. I mean, how much, what's the balance between some of the guys from the previous regime maybe just having to find new homes, new places? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, we're talking, Jose, Herb, even if you mention Trey, I mean, but some, Hawkins, those guys who, they're in a transitional period here as well, right? And I don't know. I mean, we see it all the time to where you have certain guys that's like, I'm not ready to move to this new path while I'm here. I'm not ready to give the reins of this basketball team to Jeremiah Fears or the Derek Queen. It's just not something that I'm ready to do. And I mean, we're old enough to know sometimes ego gets in the way, even in the smallest thing. People playing for money, people playing for pride, people auditioning for new situations. I'm just curious that, are we going to have to get used to some of the clutter element of this team, the indecision? Because I don't know if it's all on Borrego. I just think you're looking at a mixture of a future and the past of this team kind of meeting at the same time. And I mean, sometimes it just looks awkward on the floor, but it's clearly the future is pointing towards these two guys, but they just so happen to be 19 and 21.
Shout out to J Steen 123 for the Mexican 60 piece.
Appreciate you, dog.
Chris, all we have known is clutter.
Yeah,
I mean, like this ain't new. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. Like, realistically, I don't know when this team was really good to not have clutter. Like, everybody's been fighting for something once upon a time. Like, whether it's minutes, whether it's money, whether it's status, whether it's hierarchy, right? Like, it's always been clutter. And this is no different. Actually want to see the fight of it. Hopefully that competition brings out something different than in everybody. And it feels like the rookies themselves, like, they don't mind stepping on toes. They don't care what, like, okay, you want this team that's 3-20? Okay, well, I do. And I'm gonna take it from you if need be. I'm gonna take all these minutes. I'm gonna take all these shots. Until someone shows me otherwise, I'm gonna continue to do this. Or tells me otherwise, like, I'm going to continue to do it. So I don't mind it. I hope it continues.
Chaz, so Misi didn't play tonight, right? But when Misi's available, you have guys in I won't say in front of Queen, but you have guys that Queen shares minutes with, and depending on the game, Borrego's trying to figure out the right balance versus just throwing him out there for 30 minutes. I don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way, but that's what we have been seeing when Misi was healthy, for example, and now with Carlo. Queen played 29 minutes tonight, but and with Fears, when Poole comes back, you see sometimes the Jose being in front of him, getting in his way, but sometimes yes, getting in his way. Specifically, you mentioned the backcourt minutes. As this team, as a Poole comes back, as a Herb Jones eventually comes back at some point, like how, if you were in charge, if you were in Borrego's shoes, how do you balance the fact that you clearly have these two guys that need to develop? Your season's not going anywhere, but you got a bunch of other guys that you can't give excuses for not playing. You can't just not play Herb Jones. You can't, maybe there's a game or two you cannot play Jose Alvarado, but he's gonna play. Like, Misi, you kind of got to play him. You got to play Carlo. You got all these different guys, and that's not even talking about, Zion, right? How do you balance that? But clearly knowing like these two guys are the future, and we got to clear some space for them right now. But as a coach, because Borrego can't make the trades.
I think it's a great question, because I don't think it's a situation where you avoid playing anyone, right? I think there is a balance where you can play everyone who's readily available because everyone has skill sets. The issue is everyone's playing, well, not as much now because Herb's been gone, and Jose's toned it down a little bit. You see it tonight still, but everyone's playing outside of their wheelhouse. Everyone is like, it's a free fall, right? And if it was a situation where they just started doing this, I would feel differently. But the fact that they've been doing it all season, like everyone just like, everyone tripping, like everyone clicking to an extent, right? And if Jose gets the rebound and you're not above the break somewhere, he's pulling up and shooting a three. That's just what he's gonna do. Like, he's not passing the ball. So that's not always the right decision. For me, if Derek Queen is the future or one of the pieces of the future, you got to stop treating them like an afterthought. And to me, that's why some of the issues have been kind of systemic, because if you see one thing works, or you see something work once, right, you can't abandon it before someone shuts it down. Or even if it doesn't work that one time, if the motherfucking what's the guy Hurts, my bad, it hurt, terrible quarterback in my opinion, but the push works, right? And it works most times. Sometimes one day a motherfucker gonna stop it, but it worked 90% of the time. So if Derek Queen is going to be the quote unquote engine of your offense, because I think he can only play one way, and that's as the engine. I don't think he got the motor or the athleticism or the size to be like, give it to me in the post or nothing. I just don't think, or a junkyard type play. I think he has to be the engine of the offense. Let's not punt one season of him developing that, and let's not tease that from what we saw in the Dallas game and just be like, all right, look, Jeremiah Fish showing a little more promise. We're going to let him do what he want to do, and everybody else just get it how you live. It's like, no, we got to start instilling some good habits, some healthy habits, because it's getting to the point where I still don't know what the identity is. I just know y'all going to try hard every night. And I don't know who to thank for y'all trying hard. Is it just the absence of Willie Green? Is it Herb a little bit out? Herb is out of the equation, so you got less people going rogue. Like I just don't know who to credit for the effort necessarily. But to me, I still just don't see any identity. To Five's point, they gonna give you 3 quarters. It's just about which 3 quarters you gonna get. You saying, we was losing the third quarter. Now we winning the third by 2 points, or we breaking even, but we punting the fourth quarter. And we're not just punting the fourth quarter when we're down, because it used to be like we battling back because we lost the third. If you winning in the fourth, you punting the fourth. You could be up 10, 12 points. You're going to still punt the fourth quarter. So we still not really having an identity. It's just shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic.
I think you have like a lot of validity to that, but I do think they have some sort of identity. When I see like the back cutting, the movement, that there are plays.
Right.
It's hard to create that like on a whim.
Mm.
Like, have they really? They didn't really get an off season at this. Like, players in and out of lineups. Like, I can't just put this all on Jay. I'm not like just trying to like Jeff for James.
Yeah. I don't think it's just him because you ain't got nobody to shoot neither.
Fuck, like, right. Like, how many wide open looks were generated? Right. How many missed layups can we count? Like, that ain't him blowing that. Hey, that's gotta be on the players. That has to be on them. Like, we gotta put some of this at the feet of them. But yeah, like I would like to see where both happens, Chaz, with like Jeremiah Fears' growth and Queen's growth happen simultaneously. Like, don't, and I think that's where like the decision making will come in for Jeremiah. Like, you have the ability to get your own at all times. Allow Derek to be the engine, and that way when the fourth comes, you can just go off, because at that point they're so focused on him. You were the, in football, like you're the X guy, like you're the game changer. He's the engine, you're the game changer, you're the speed, like, but that takes time to development. We just need time. I don't know if we're gonna get it. I guess we will.
You know, five when you saying this right now about Fears, Russell Westbrook comes to mind for me, because I remember it's the balance that like when you have that kind of like motor and intensity, or you play with that level of like aggression, defiance. It's it's difficult, I think, for young people to manage that by themselves, and that's where coaching like comes into play. Like, you almost got to help him through it, right? Because I remember with Westbrook, it was, I mean, to this day, it's something that he struggles with, trying to balance. Like, when am I pushing this button versus this button? How do I use my superstar talents around me versus having to feel as if I got to do this by myself? You know what I mean? And with Fears, he's so used to doing things by himself. I think what you're speaking to is overall maturity of just learning, like, hey, I'm still going to be able to get mine, but there's nuances in this game and with players that have gravity that I can use to make that easier, versus I can dribble 3, 4, 5 times past anybody I want to and get there consistently. Like, you don't need to necessarily do that, right? And I think that might come with maturity. And, you got to think, like, what Chaz was mentioning about overall development and how guys are. There's certain things with these two that are going to change. I don't know if, with Queen, much may not change physically. He may get into better shape. Yeah. But he's not going to improve as an athlete, really. But one of the best parts about him is that he's really smart. He processes quickly with the basketball and without it. He sees the second pass. Like, he's almost like a guard in the sense of he doesn't see the person that's in front of him. He's not worried about that person. He's worried about the person that's helping afterwards. So, and that's a beautiful thing. But eventually what's going to happen is he's going to get a jumper, and a consistent jumper, whether that's the midi or whether that's from 3. And, from there, what does that open up for him on closeout? What does it look like if Derek Queen's attacking a closeout? What does it look like when Jeremiah Fears continues to work on his jumper, which, in all honesty, man, I didn't think it would be even this solid. I didn't think he'd shoot 30% at this level. I mean, even for this period, maybe he goes on a stretch, but what happens when that 3 becomes, higher volume, so, Chaz, what I would hope that this team does, but it's hard for me to hope, because I've just seen so many examples in these 20 plus years of them not making either the evident decision or not making the decision early enough, them just waiting too late. It's clear out things for those two. You can put guys like Bryce McGowan's, you can put Micah Peavy's if you want to. You can put Carlo Builds and types. You can put Trey Murphy's. These people that help make the game easier for them. But you got to clear out a lot of shit. you got to get rid of a lot of people. And we ain't talking about 2 people. You got to get you have to move these people in in bags, because those two specifically, man, like they need parts. They can't leave games with 25 3 shot up and seven made. That's not gonna fit what they do well anyway.
Man, that's why I think so much of it is systemic, because man, it's like it goes back to the offseason, right? When there was some criticism surrounding Derek Queen, like in the summer league. I'm like, nah, this seen these types before, man. You got one on your roster right now. This brother needs the ball. Like this is how he wired. I need to see a couple layups go in. And I'm gonna lock in defensively. I'm gonna start getting blocks. I'm gonna start running the court. Like I just need to see this. I need to play extended minutes. You can't sub me out. It can't be no sub pattern. I need to play 30 real minutes in a row. Like this is how I gotta go. And to me, that's where my hesitancy comes in, as far as like when I think about building around Queen in particular, because I'm like, well, shit, you just kind of seem like more of an asset versus the way he's being utilized. I'll say that. Like, I think Fears can play off of Queen. I don't know how much Queen can play off of Fears, because I say that because if Queen ain't got like a clear lane to the rim, he kind of struggled with jumping a little bit at this stage, right? And go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Well, but see, that's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Because Chaz, if you add, like, let's say you think they're a poor version of Jamal Murray and Jokic, or let's say you think it's the inverse. Mm-hmm. Let's say you think it's a better Jamal Murray and a lesser version of Jokic. It don't work if you don't have a KCP equivalent or close, or Christian Braun or Michael Porter Jr. or an Aaron Gordon. Like you gotta put the pieces that help create the space for these people to work as well. Because ain't nobody running to close out for Bryce McGowan's. Respectfully, ain't nobody running to close out for Micah Peavy. So I'm wondering as well, like, you got one shooter on the fucking team.
Yeah.
Like, so how can I truthfully, and this is a real question. How can I truthfully evaluate what they're running into when the parts don't match what fit them best yet? And I mean, I don't know, in 23 games into their rookie year, if it should.
I think you kind of got to look at I hate it's 2 different sports, but I think you almost got to look at, if you're going to continue to do things the way you're doing it, I think you kind of got to look at Derek Queen like a third down running back. And what I mean by that is, like, short distance. All right, we got the lead. We just need a first down here, Queen. Just keep them off of us. Like, you know what I'm saying? And because I think with his motor and the rebounding stroke, I just can see he's not a 5 at this level. And again, Rudy Gobert is not the best person to really check that against. But I'm just like, I don't see how much stronger you can really get. And, you strike me as more of a below the rim type player. That's why, for me, I want the ball in his hands every possession. I want him orchestrating the offense every possession, because I think it opens up opportunities for everybody. And I know I'm going to get a better version of him, because he's going to be more inspired to run and play and jump. And 2 back-to-back possessions, man. 3 Pelicans by the ball. They missed the first offensive rebound. 3 Pelicans about the ball. Again, they missed the second. It's like, no, it's too many. The Pelicans have struggled for years with bad athletes. But so you got to maximize what works for certain guys. I think what you don't want to do, for as talented as Sabonis is, right? I think Sabonis is incredibly talented. He's been miscast his entire career. He is a 4. He's a big 4 that plays the 5, and every time he in the playoffs, he get exposed because he's really a 4. Karl-Anthony Towns is a 4. He's a big ass 4 that plays the 5, and now you see Mitchell Robinson with him, because he keeps him and Brunson can't play defensively. So I think if you're the Pelicans, you got to put Queen at the 4, and you got to maximize his offense, because at best he'll be a neutral defensively. Like he's just gonna be that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? like at best, you maximize him on offense and you go from there. Like with Nash Reed, nobody really give a fuck what Nash Reed does on defense because they know like he gonna shoot the ball, he gonna get some putbacks, he gonna rebound a little bit. I think he could be. Of course, Queen could be. He's more talented than Nash Reed, more skilled than Nash Reed from a passing and dribbling standpoint. But you kind of gotta use players at their strengths. Like you don't want to live in an ideal world where Zion gonna shoot 5 threes a game, or LeBron is about to start. He gonna start taking all the final shots. Rui Hachimura took the last shot tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like and hit that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta just realize who guys are early before you spend all these years miscasting them. I think that's one of the pluses you're seeing right now because you're seeing who guys are and who they aren't. I think that's one of the positives going on right now this season.
5. Because I'm trying to think here. Like, do I remember Şengün's rookie year?
I vaguely remember it. I ain't gonna lie. I remember being like, "Oh, that's interesting," but I don't remember him being good like that.
I mean, I was
go ahead.
I was calling him like Baby Joker at the time, just because you could just see the flashes. But it wasn't like he had some really good games. He probably had some really bad games.
I'm just, I'm curious, 5 to what Chaz's point, and some of the things you mentioned as well is like, if there's a plus here is that these guys are ahead of the curve than maybe than what we expected. Like their development is a little bit past, and especially with Fears. But that's been Fears' MO his whole pretty much like career. He's always been a step ahead, of wherever he's supposed to be. So, but I'm curious, like, how do you continue to take advantage of that momentum without the front office just clearing space for them by getting rid of certain players? Like, because they're not going to trade everybody. DeJounte Murray's going to play basketball at some point this year. You still have Zion, and we've heard enough about what his trade value is or isn't. Maybe Herb Jones ultimately gets traded. Maybe Jose Alvarado gets traded. But you mentioned earlier, 5, that you want to see them having, like, you want to see that power struggle kind of happen. Doesn't have to. Nobody got slapped shit out of each other. Or maybe they do. But like how I'm just curious, like, what that balance ultimately looks like for two guys that are so advanced, but trying to kind of keep them at a pace. Because when Borrego first took the job, the first thing he tried to do was kind of reel him back a little bit. Nah, we're not gonna have you playing 30 minutes. We're gonna have y'all both playing about 20 minutes. Now you see them again because of injuries or whatever the case may be. They're back up to 29 and 30 minutes. Like, I'm just looking for clarity personally of, you see these two building blocks, but you just got a lot of shit, in their way. And I don't know, as they get healthier, I think we're a long way away before anybody's traded. So I just can't tell you if you got 13, if you got 12, you got 11 players that all need to play, how exactly you are going to maximize every single thing for a guy in Borrego that's coaching for a head coaching job. He's trying to coach to have this job for down the road here, few years. He ain't just coaching for right now.
First, let me talk about like let's say the minutes, right? Or when Borrego started coaching his team, he dropped their minutes down a little bit. I think that was more so like trying to give them like a baseline of like, hey, whether you play 20 minutes or 30 minutes, like there's a standard that you have to play at. I get it. No one else is playing at this standard. I'm not really worried about him. If I'm Borrego, I'm tying my success to these two people. No one else. Right? Like, I'm here to benefit you more than everybody else. This is year 7 for Zion, year 6 for Trey, year whatever for everybody else. Nah, y'all are the future. So let me try to help y'all. And I'm gonna make you earn these minutes as much as I can. I remember like Queens kind of started like his motor would be up and down, and Borrego would bench him, whatever, like, and then he would play after that. And what would happen? Like, you wouldn't see those motor question marks again. And for fears, it was the decision making, potentially bad shots. All right, cool. His decision making got better. It's like, I don't want to compare it to like parenting, but like it's almost like, yo, you get out of line, I gotta almost reprimand you so I could tell you like, yo, this is how you get better at it. It makes sense. Hopefully they can continue to just have the freedom to fail. Like that's what I want for them. Like, right. Like have the freedom to play within yourself, but also understand your success is tied to other people. Your failure is also tied to other people. Wear that responsibility, play with that responsibility within yourself. Get other people involved, because when they have success, then you have success. It's all about running a team, because I think that's what the last regime didn't do, right? Understand that this is a wholeheartedly you thing. It's on your shoulders. We're here to help you and assist you, but this is on you. Earlier you guys talking about Queen. You remember like the playground game where it was like a bucket, you shot a ball in and you didn't know where the ball was gonna like pop out of, and like multiple.
Yeah.
That's what I think of Derek Queen, right? Like you threw the ball in the middle and it had several.
That's not a pop shot, huh?
I don't know. What it's
I
called.
never played this game.
You never seen it
It's
like
on
in the play?
like it's on the what you want to call it? It's like a diving board for the ball.
Yeah.
And I think I knew what you're talking about, but go ahead.
But like that's how I see Derek Queen,
Mhm.
right? Like you throw the ball to him and you don't know where it's going, but it's going in the place that it's designed to go, and he can figure it out from there. If you're Jeremiah Fears, like you don't want to be the decision maker, bro. That's not your thing. You might as well that's his thing. You want to finish and slash. Great, cool. You want to shoot threes. Great, cool. Let him facilitate to you. So that way you can get your rhythm. And then when the game gets close and it's you and you're already in rhythm. He not trying to take jumpers, no way. Like it's I don't know. Eventually I think they'll see it. But yeah, if I'm Jeremiah Fears, like I'm allowing Derek Queen to help me rather than vice versa.
I just thought about something and it reminded me. Shout out to Showtime 504. Pro Blocker Shot is the game y'all talking about. Appreciate you, dog. You know what? I kind of think, because I remember this watching Houston when Jalen Green was like, he looked terrible at one point. And then Sengun went down. And you was like, oh shit. And then you got Jabari at the 5. It was just a totally different team, right? And I think they won like 10, 12 games in a row, something crazy, right? But then Sengun
that was a Min Thompson, right?
Yeah, Min Thompson, right? Yeah. Then Sengun comes back. And then it's like, oh, wait, what happened to Jalen Green? You know, like, so I think, and they had to decide, like, all right, which mentality are we going with? Which player are we going with? Are we going to be a pace team? I think it's hard to be a pace team with Derek Queen. So I think it's kind of difficult to thread the needle with JB's philosophy. But because, you know, for me watching, it looked like a lot of his game is guard oriented, like from what I've seen, like for watching his highlights and stuff like that, with guys like what's my man, Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham, you know, guys like that, which I think Jordan Poole kind of fits the mold of guys like that. But and even Jeremiah Fears to a degree, it just seemed with this philosophy, I wonder how much Derek Queen fits into it. But also, I'm like, but I just saw you do it in Dallas. I just saw that happen in Dallas. So it makes me like, that seemed like you can win with that. Like, why you want to just play? You play like that. That's more the long game. You ain't never won playing with Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham. Oh, that shit is cool. But, you know, it gets to the point where analytics be for nerds at a certain point. It gets to the point where, like, all right, look, the point of the game is to win. This motherfucker had 7 assists in first quarter. Like, I kind of want to see a little bit more of that, because I think you got to he got to be a budding all-star at some point, because this looking bad right now. This ain't looking good. And like, just looking at his numbers, you know, again, it's not all his fault, because look, man, you can't control when you play. You can control your own motor, but you can't control when you play. But if it's up to the players, why we need coaches, right? If everything's up to the players, I mean, why we need coaches? You know, 4 for 9, got 4 free throws, 4 rebounds total, 5 assists. 5 assists, pretty good, right? So damn, 5 fouls, 12 points, only 1 turnover. So I had to see what his potential turnovers, potential assists were. But it's like, I mean, this is a double machine. This guy is built to be a double machine, kind of almost like a lesser Sabonis in that regard. I need him to feel engaged. I need him to have the first few bites at the apple, and then we go from there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the only way I'm gonna get him engaged for 48 minutes. Like, it's the only way I'm gonna get him diving on the floor or like fighting for the boards a lot of the times. Because I can't lie, man, it's a scary motor when the brother not getting the ball, man, and his offensive limitations or his physical limitations don't make up for that all the time. So you need him as engaged as possible, I would think.
That's the same problem Zion had early on, right? Like, you wouldn't get him involved. Like, it'd be a totally different person when you did. The game I was referring to was called Funnel Ball. I don't know if y'all ever seen this.
I've never seen that before.
You never seen this? Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah, that look,
me either, dog. I'll be honest.
That look interesting. I've never seen it.
Oh, wow.
That's not how I pictured it at all, honestly.
Yeah, I was trying to find a photo with like a bunch of black kids, but you know how that goes.
They might have just ain't have it at black parks, because I'm trying to see. I never seen.
Man, maybe that's yeah, you know, I went to Catholic school at one point. But yeah, man, like throw the ball in there and the shit just goes everywhere. But yeah, man.
That's cool. Now I kind of want to play the shit. Now I'm interested.
Oh man, I had, and I only seen this in New Orleans. When I came to Chicago, I did not see this. I had the there's a ball attached to a string around the pole.
Tether ball.
You ain't never saw tether ball?
No, I saw growing up in the city.
You seen in Chicago?
I ain't seen Chicago. I only saw it in New Orleans. That's the only like. That's it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, is he? No, I ain't seen that 1-5.
Oh my bad.
Yeah. No. I mean, shit.
That shit cool. I kind of want to play it now. Like, no, I'm interested.
Let me see here, man. What we got here? What the hell? Okay, so yeah, man. I mean, I saw shout out to A. Davis. I saw his comment about putting the talent around. Okay. No. I saw Davis's comment about putting the talent around Queen and Fear, similar to Sabonis and Şengün. You know, but again, it's like, you know, year one, Sabonis is on, you know, was fighting for minutes at the end of the bench at OKC, right? It took him to get to get traded for Oladipo, I think, to go to Indiana and really start to shine. Şengün, he also has some players in his way, but you know, eventually talent gonna shine, right?
Shit, Joker.
Yeah. But it was on Denver. Denver immediately. They didn't waste any time. Like, Nurkic, you gotta go. We gonna have to, like, we see this now. We gotta invest in it, and that's really what it is. The Pelicans been too afraid as a franchise over time to just invest in what they're seeing or project going forward. So they get all these players, whether they're all-star calibers, fringe all-star starters, role player specialists, they get all in the way of what the future is. They did it with AD. Chris Paul was probably the only one that that didn't happen with, but it happened with AD and it happened with Zion. You know, in which, you know, you got Drew, Derek Favors, you know, JJ Redick, you got Lonzo, you got BI, you got all these guys. You telling me is Zion's team? No, it don't look like it. AD, he had 1 year, his rookie year, and second year, you know, you got Tyreek, Drew, you still got Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson, you got all these guys, like, Jesus. And then it's like, oh shit, AD can score 20 points a game. Yeah, no shit. You're supposed to wait a little bit long. So, you know, I would hope that, you know, through this, and you know, I don't want them to try to make this more difficult than it has to be.
Likes?
You got 400.
No way.
No way. Be right.
Ain't no way.
Hey, dog, we'll stop this.
Yeah, right. I'm about to say we'll end the show right now. We'll listen, we'll be playing the game. 5 or something right now.
We'll be playing funnel ball.
Be playing funnel ball. Y'all better stop playing. So I'm just hoping that in the midst of all this, with all these players that are here now, with Jordan Poole and Zion and Herb and Trey and all this, I'm hoping that they don't let what's currently here now disrupt what needs to happen going forward. Maybe you don't have to get rid of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even that's not enough, Shelby. 66 likes ain't enough.
500 people in here?
Yeah. What we
Are
doing,
we streaming
man?
simultaneously on Twitter?
We on X. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's probably why. That's probably why.
That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what.
But
yeah, like I don't want them to to say, oh well, we got to add these amount of players. You got to find a way to keep the basketball in these dudes' hands, and it might mean you might be terrible for another couple of years or for another year. That's okay.
See,
go ahead, Five.
I'm just gonna say, is it okay?
Thank you, Ken.
It's gonna take some real honesty from this organization that historically been dishonest about everything. They're not gonna tell, like, yo, just tell the truth. Like, if you move from Zion, be like, cool, our future is Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears. We might be bad for a couple years. But this is what we're developing. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, are you gonna have that ability? I think Detroit did a good job of that when they drafted Cade. Right? Yeah, we're gonna be bad. Their fans knew it, but they saw something in Cade, and then they drafted Duren, and then it all kind of. I mean, you got Troy Weaver here. Can you replicate that?
Yeah,
I think that's a big question.
I think man, because we got told something earlier in the group chat. Well, way before the game, right? And I ain't gonna hold you, son. I think. Boy, that bitch was bald headed the other day. That arena. I just think they're in a point where they just can't sustain a full tear down. And as much as we know, because we got told a lot of shit about the sales and all that shit and how they doing 2 for 5s and all kinds of shit right now to get people in the building. Like, imagine if you can't even lie to a motherfucker no more, and you ain't got like no top pick. At least, well, you ain't got a pick, period, going into next year. But I feel like the only way that they could have realistically did a tear down, that's why you should have did it a couple years ago. But the only way they could have, because you would have had the Zion answer by now. You'd have been, all right, fuck it. Now we can move on. But the only reason you can't do a complete tear down is because, for one, you ain't got no pick, and it got to be like a top 2 pick. It can't be, no disrespect to VJ. I like VJ, but it can't be VJ Ashcombe. It got to be, it can't even be Cooper Flagg, I don't think. I think it would have had to be like Victor Wembanyama, because like it just looked like locally, it kind of looked, since the team been so bad, it kind of just looked like locally your only option is to win to get motherfuckers in the building. And when you hire an older guy like Joe Dumars, I think and you see what the Pistons doing, I think they're gonna try to expedite the process and be like, oh no, we got our pick for next year in Derek Queen. This is year 2. This is year 2 for them. So we ready to win now. So now we got to get some talent in here, and we're gonna start winning.
So what does that look like? Because if you go that route, what kind of supporting really good players are you gonna bring in, and how do you make sure that they're not stepping on the toes of these 2 guys that you say we gotta build through, to where you're not repeating past mistakes?
In my opinion, I think what I gathered from Troy Weaver's team building in Detroit, I don't think he cared about fit, period. I think because Duren and Stewart don't fit whatsoever. Like, it's working itself out.
Yeah, a little bit better now, but originally,
But it looked like he was never getting no first back for Duren at one point. Like, it looked like a total buy low situation, right? And then Ivy looked kind of questionable for years. Then you had Killian Hayes. I think Troy Weaver, one of them people that just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna just throw all this paint on the wall, and I'll just figure out what to make later with the paint. And he just gonna keep. I think he just gonna take the best player available in any trade, in any draft. I think he just in talent acquisition mode, because there's no disrespect to the players, man. There's no disrespect whatsoever to the players. Pelicans just physically are just lacking. Like this from a physical standpoint, they're just not very strong. They can't really run. They can't really jump. They're not super tall. They just don't have no advantages necessarily. Like, so it's fucked up, but it just ain't. Like, if JV in the starting unit right now would be one of your only advantage creators. And that's like sad to say. It go to your strength and conditioning program as well, and also what guys doing in the off season. But it's also about the guys you bring in. Man, shout out to Jordan Hawkins, man. Jordan Hawkins drove to the rim today, dog. Jordan Hawkins, I appreciate him jumping into the contact. Man, Jordan Hawkins try to do the Aaron one. Jordan Hawkins threw the motherfucking ball over the rim. I mean, over the backboard. I said, no, dog. That's why we can't get no and ones. If you notice, we cannot get 3-point plays. We too skinny.
Can't nobody finish through the contact.
Nobody, dog. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy, dog.
But this is why I thought like the DeAndre Jordan signing was interesting. It like the Sadiq Bey one is helping out. I think is paying dividends just to those two players specifically. I think they are benefiting from that in a way like we won't see until 3 or 4 years down the line. But as Chris kind of talked about, you can't have people stepping up, like letting DeJounte play isn't going to be beneficial for Jeremiah Fears, nor is it for Derek Queen, for that matter.
Do you think he just takes Jose's minutes 5, or you think he's too far gone with that? Because DeJounte, interesting guy.
I like DeJounte. Like
I like him too.
I like him a lot. But that's a different mentality than just taking Jose's minutes. Right. Like I think even Jose knows like Jeremiah Fears is the future. DeJounte probably thinks like, nigga, this is my team. Like I got this. I still got it. Like this ain't the time for that. But I get both sides. But this is why I won't mind the competition, because there has to be some kind of tug of war. Like you have to value it. I don't want anybody being given a team anymore. Like earn it, take it from somebody.
So it sounds like a the old adage, the cream rises to the top, kind of thing. Like you don't necessarily have to clutter their movements, but you don't have to make it. You don't have to make it easier for them to step either. You know what I mean? Like, you got to it got to be a balance of them not getting entitlement too early, but you not putting them in a space to where they can't move freely. And it's an interesting line to walk. Like, Chaz, I think of SGA, like, when SGA got to Oklahoma City, the first thing they did was bring in
Chris Paul.
They traded, right. They traded for Chris Paul. And the funny part about that year is that people don't remember they weren't supposed to be good. Like they weren't. The plan was to trade CP3 at the deadline. Like that was the plan. And it just so happened that they were good. And then from there, the run starts. Everything that they built kind of goes from there. And now they got assets on assets on assets that they just keep pushing down the line, and which they'll probably have until we're dead. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Chad.
I think, you know what? I think OKC is very interesting. It's funny you brought that up, right? Because I think it's so funny. That's a great comp, because I mentioned OKC and SGA on the live stream. I spoke specifically about Chris Paul with his homeless ass. Don't try to spin the block, Chris. Like he'll do anything not to come back here. Like, nah, I ain't done playing.
Oh yeah,
watch he go. He gonna end up in he gonna end up somewhere weird. Watch he end up in like Boston or something.
Indiana.
Anyway, yeah, somewhere weird. Like what the fuck? But I think OKC is such an interesting comp because OKC failed a lot. And they failed with a lot of talent a lot of times. You're talking about all the talented players that went through that organization. And it wasn't until they say, yo, this guy right here, we're going to just lose for about 3-4 years in a row because he's not supposed to be nobody. He just showing a little bit of promise. And we're going to bring some guys in that going to show you how to win. Like, people forget, OKC was missing in the draft. OKC had some years where they looked fucking off. Like, it was like, what is y'all doing? But every year, you saw Shea get better. Every year you saw Shea get better. And once Chris Paul kind of taught them dudes what winning time was, they just took the next step. They started acquiring the same type of physical athletes. You look at the guys like Caruso and Jalen Williams and Kenny Hustle. Luke Dort's like a shorter version of that, but strong physical athletes. You got Hartenstein. He got a calf injury right now, but Hartenstein, Chet is like the anomaly on that roster. For us, he don't really fit the build necessarily, and maybe SGA
even the
to
other
a lesser
Williams,
extent.
the other
Jalen Williams, right?
Yeah,
and even with they draft, they got Usman Jing, who I was a fan of coming out of overseas, but he ain't been good. It just So I said that to say there's no right way to do it, but the reason another reason OKC was so interesting to me when you brought him up, Chris, I think great players there's a difference between some of these great players and players who had great careers, right? Shout out to Carmelo Anthony.
Talk about it.
Carmelo had an interesting quote, right? He was like, man, talking about Chris Paul. Man, Chris Paul, they mistreating all these Hall of Famers. It's like, Carmelo, you're talking about yourself. Really.
He felt that.
Yeah, he felt that in his soul. Yeah. And it's like, Carmelo, where it went wrong for Carmelo, and Carmelo was incredible, right? But where it went wrong for him is when he couldn't figure out the triangle. And the reason I bring that up is you got Phil Jackson and you can't figure out the triangle. This worked for Kobe, it worked for Shaq, it worked for Jordan, it worked for Pippen, but it ain't gonna work for you. The reason why that relates to the Pelicans is great players know how to play with other talent. Great players know when to take a step back and know when to take a step forward. I feel like with Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fez, I feel like they both high-level talent guys. And I think irregardless of who the Pelicans bring in, if you hire the right coaching staff and if you get the right amount of buy-in, guys will know when to step forward and when to step back. Like Jalen Williams and SGA. Jalen Williams know when it's time to SGA killing these motherfuckers. Or
there you go. Yep.
The Jays, Tatum and Brown. Look at what Brown doing right now. It's just that kind of go to show you, I can kind of do this the whole time, but I know my role. I'm Batman. This is Rodman. Oh, we 1A, 1B. And I just think great players and great talent, they'll rise to the occasion if you surround them with the right leadership and the right structure.
You think Five to Chaz's point? You think that because some of that is just it's just common sense. I mean, all these guys have egos, right? I mean, all these guys want to be great. All these guys have individual goals. But you think that, with some of these previous Pelicans teams, you had so many players that just got in the way of each other simply because it was, okay, it's my turn. Now it's my turn. Now it's my turn. Now it's my turn. Versus guys just getting out the way and saying, yo, this is his. This is his team. This is his moment. This is his part of the game. This is his quarter. Do you see that level of, I mean, there's some level of maturity there, right? With that. And even with Brown and Tatum, it took time. They had periods to where, there were multiple years where people were like, one of them gotta go. They can't play.
They started
together.
with fucking Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kemba.
I mean, that's my thing, bro. It even took them 5 years before they finally put it all together. A long time. Mm-hmm. We 23 games in of these two guys' career, and we how do they move here? How do they move there? Do you think their advancement and development and the work ethic that these two guys put in, Five, speaks to, I guess, the maturity of maybe them being able to catch what it means to just be a duo together a little earlier than some of the teams or the examples that took a little bit longer?
We have to give a little context. The Celtics got to the Eastern Conference Finals, second year, or maybe
actually the first year.
First year, so it's
the first year, yeah. They went right away.
They kind of figured out.
Tatum dunked on LeBron. Oh, I want LeBron to lose right now. I was hating, but go ahead. Damn.
I remember that. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Was cold.
Yeah, they were. See, I think that should be a point of emphasis, right? And that not just a point of emphasis from them two, but a point of emphasis from the coaching staff, and also a point of emphasis just from the organization. You have to be aligned. Hey, these are our guys. We have to do this. It's a must. I don't care who's on the court with them. they are supporting cast to these two. But like, who's going to be that honest about it? Like, who's going to be that upfront about it? Like that's the question we need to truly ask. Like, who's going to be the one to deliver this kind of message and it rang throughout the organization?
Does that mean that Borrego has the leg up on his job, whether it's the best move or not?
Listen to me. If shout out to Scoop B, he put out some code. Like, if those are the three guys,
who the
then
three
there's
guys?
I think it was
Ali.
Ali from UConn. What's his last name? I forgot.
Kevin Ali.
Kevin Ali.
Who was cleared of those accusations, by the way. Shout out to Kevin Ali.
Okay.
It wasn't nothing crazy. It wasn't nothing like
okay.
that how that sounded.
Well, look, because he looked like Kevin Johnson to me. Like he always had.
Kevin Johnson got some real
allegations. You see what I'm saying? And Kevin Johnson got real allegations. So
not those type of allegations. But it was Darvin Ham. It was the hip hop crew, Kevin Ali, Darvin Graham, those guys.
Dog,
but
like,
shout out to Jake Fisher. Also, Mosley from Orlando is also a guy in consideration.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's different.
Why?
I see that one.
How?
I don't know, man.
They want him going? Paulo want him going?
No, I'm just saying, if people come available, and you got to think about Ty Lue as well. If certain guys become available,
well, then
it's going to be.
But see, we talked about this. We talked about this on the show in the past. A guy like Jamal Mosley might end up being a casualty for them going to spend money on one of these big coaches to try to get the next level out of.
Happens every year, right?
Bronze. Yeah, and when you, it always happens. It's a lot easier. So I mean, Jamal Mosley,
boy, what?
I don't know, because that's the thing. The beauty of the Substack is it's behind the paywall, and you get the support like the journalists. But at the same time, a lot of stuff don't really go public. If I'm not mistaken, Jake Fisher in his Substack with Mark Stein, he mentioned that Mosley might be someone in consideration. I heard that a couple times.
Okay.
So, and people, they might be saying you ain't getting the best out of Paulo. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need somebody. We ready to take the next step, Mark Jackson. We need somebody new. We need somebody a little lighter.
Hey,
so we go get somebody else.
Y'all heard the story about Mark Jackson and really why he got out of Golden State?
With the religious stuff?
Yeah. But come to find out the owners were, It's crazy.
We got a couple people. What was that dude we had at one time? He was I think he was like defensive coordinator. His name started with an E. He got ran out for like wearing a wire or some shit in Boston or Golden State. I think his name was Ehrman. I think he ended up going to
Darren Ehrman.
Darren Ehrman.
Pelicans.
Yeah, that's another guy who was like an outcast from. Boy, this is a dirty game. Boy. It's like House of Cards, like Crispy saying. It's a dirty game. I just think, man, Mosley, no matter what happens next year, see, that's why it's such a fucked up situation, because now you got you Pelicans, you in a tough spot because it ain't like you got a bunch of young talent. You really got two guys and some guys who like they're young but not even making money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you almost got to be like, all right, look, I'm gonna try to get some talent in the off season, and whatever happens next year, since I got my own pick, I can pull the plug. And you got it's not the best pick, but you got the Bucks 27 pick, top 4 protected, which I wish they would have just got that shit unprotected from Atlanta and just got their portion of that back. But if it lands in the top 4, the Pelicans keep their pick and the Bucks pick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So they still got so many young guys on solid contracts, and you got some transferable skills. It just you're too small, height and size, strength wise. You don't got enough athleticism. That's why Carlo looked like awesome out there, because we ain't got nobody else to do that.
Because the bar
like
is low.
Carlo, yeah. It's like we ain't got nobody else to run like that. Look at him; he's like a gazelle. It's like this.
Yeah, dog, look, bro, that Boston game like just stays in my mind. For example, man, because they had role players that were looking like first class,
had like 40.
Yeah, like but no, I mean, yeah. But the No, I'm earlier in the year. Where
this year. Yeah.
What's the center? Quita.
On the second night back to back. Yeah.
Like Josh Manoa, whatever. Like all these talented guys, but role players that just look. I was like, damn. Like, I mean, Pelicans ain't got nobody that could do that. It's like, I mean, and I caught myself earlier. Damn, like, you know, I want Carlo to play basketball, man, but you know, and I want him, but I shouldn't be thinking like, oh, they got to make room for Carlo Makovich. No, they need to add better. They need to continue to add talented guys that are capable of doing some more of these things to where I'm like, man, like I need to see Carlo play 20, 25 minutes a night because they have no other big that can even attempt to shoot a couple threes a night. They can attempt to finish alive at the rim. And it's been like that for years.
That's why when like Eves has a good game, I'm still like I feel like Smokey Mama, a Smokey when Mama gave him $1, like make it enough. Like no, that ain't enough. Like I can't. Like it's not enough. It's not gonna be enough against good teams. Like it's not enough. It's not enough skill, really. I know we talk about like talent and athleticism, but the skill is so low.
From the team,
like or just the actual know-how to. Like when you get the ball, like what are you looking at? What are the advantages? Like who to get the ball to? Like how are we going to score on this play? What is the defense doing? Like how fast can we process this information? And it's just not there at all.
No, and then guys overcompensate with 46 seconds left on the game clock, and you up by 4, and the point guard gets the rebound. And versus passing the ball to the guy that probably should have got the ball to bring the call up, he's in a rush to hurry up and get up the court, and he turns the ball over, and he ultimately loses the game.
Sound like you're talking about somebody in particular.
Man.
If I can just say one more thing about OKC, bro, is again OKC being a super small market team, they were never going to get marquee free agents once Russ and all those guys left. Their second best player was Enes Kanter for a little bit. Second best player. And we look at like Enes Kanter. And Kanter was getting like 20 rebounds. Enes Kanter was fucking balling. Man. He just sucked on the up. Enes Kanter was Domantas Sabonis before Domantas Sabonis, right? But I think
boy went to Boston, right?
That's him.
All right.
And then Boston, Portland.
Yeah, he ate LeBron guts.
Oh, he had a little.
Couldn't go back to his home country. They were trying to kill him.
Yeah. He was wilding out. But so I think if you're the Pelicans again, man, the only way you really gonna acquire talent is 2 ways. You gotta hit on it in the draft, which you haven't really done aside from maybe 1 or 2 years, and the bud is kind of off the rolls with a couple of those guys, or through trades, buying high upside talent, or even recouping replenishing your draft assets and then buying more or taking on bad contracts, etc. That's why I think Troy Weaver, if you look at what Troy, if 2 or 3 years from now Derek Queen ends up being Duren, you kind of feel a little bit better depending on where your pick lands next year, right? Because you'll say, all right, he ain't worried about fit. He was just drafting all the talent he could get, and it finally came together and worked out. We hired JB Bickerstaff. It worked out cool. But it's like, you got to get the talent in the building at this point. Like, you just got to get it in the building. McGowan was one of your better players tonight. That's not a knock on him, but it's rather have him than not have him tonight. But it just like McGowan came off the street, dog. Like Brandon Boston last year off the street. So like you got to get talent desperately. Some high pedigree guys.
Yeah, Detroit's interesting, as well, because I forget in the midst of, when you name some of those players, all the guys that they had over there, and for years people was like, what are they doing? Mm-hmm. Like, you drafted Sadiq Bey, but you don't really have a future there. It doesn't really seem like you have a future there for him. You drafted Cade Cunningham, but then you brought in Jalen Ivey. That don't necessarily fit. You went and get, Jeremy Grant's making big money on your team. What you doing? Wait, you signed Christian Wood? Like what exactly is going? And then, a year after that, shortly after that, you're not thinking about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you forgetting less and less. You know, oh, you brought in James Wiseman. Like, what exactly are they doing? And then immediately you're thinking totally different about how that program, you know, is looking. And from here, now they have a system similar to what OKC found. They have a system now. They knew immediately off of last year, like as soon as Malik Beasley was out, we need someone. Actually, we need multiples that are capable of filling that kind of role. And now they ain't missed a beat. Now you watching them do some of the shit you see Miami or OKC do. Half the team out, the stars missing games. You got players playing that you might not have heard of, but the people in Detroit know who they are, and they go on a 10-game winning streak. You know, like
they got a
that's
style,
the beauty of
man.
it.
They got a style, bro.
Yep.
Like it's all like that's why like losing right now, I'm not really tripping about. You know, like find a style, find something that works for you that eventually will replicate wins, right? Or produce wins. But find something that creates advantages for your team to learn about itself. Because really that's what it's about. You're really trying to play 5-on-0. Play. This is how we're gonna play: win, lose, or draw. We're gonna do this. We're gonna try to do this for 4 quarters. If we can do this for 4 quarters, we'll have a chance to win. Now they're finally putting 3 quarters together. Can they put it at 3.5? Can we get to a full game of moving the basketball, playing defense, flying around? Can we get to that point? I'm gonna be patient to see because there ain't nothing else we can do.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to some of these super chats and get everybody out here. Chaz, you had something else before we move on?
Oh no, I would just say I believe in Troy Weaver, man. I believe. Now I ain't gonna say what extent I believe in him too, but I believe in him to a certain extent. Shout out to Troy Weaver.
Track records matter, man, and especially when you're able to do them in some, even if it's not replicating it pattern by pattern. If you have success of people speaking higher of whatever your strength is in multiple places, that ain't no example. I mean, that ain't no accident. You know what I'm saying? Like that, it's something to that. So, but
Westbrook, Asar, Fierce, Duran.
But the thing is, Chaz, the first year of Troy Weaver versus year 3 or 4 of Troy Weaver, or in a lot of cases after Troy Weaver leaves, looks totally different. You know, so you know, we'll have to see. Cajun Curveball, man. Appreciate you for the 10 piece, dog. Imagine walking into a stadium with a Pelicans jersey on right now. You get joked. I love these teams, man. Please save.
The good thing is nobody walking into the stadium, boy. It's empty. Hello. It's empty.
Hilarious, man. Can the crew recall? Appreciate you, Justine. Can the crew recall a player as focused, working hard as Hulk who regressed so much in each sequential year of his career? I bought his fucking jersey.
Yeah.
Who worked hard and regressed?
Man, boys don't
working hard is heavy lifting, right?
Because when you say working hard, like are we sure? Are we sure Hawk was working hard?
Man,
I ain't saying he was just wasting his time, but
right. I think all these guys work hard, right? I think there's just some things that, like, watch Mitchell Robinson in practice and training. Mitchell Robinson looked like he looked better than Jokic. but in the real world, when the bullet's live, it just don't translate. I think man, Jordan Hawk was losing shooting battles to Willie Green, dog. Like it's just,
you know what? Maybe to a lesser degree, like Nikhil. Nikhil and Hawk's game are different. But we used to talk about how hard Nikhil worked, how much how much talent he had, how pretty certain parts of his game looked, but he could never really put it together consistently for it to ever matter. Now, Nikhil was a better player when he left New Orleans than Hawk has been since his rookie year. But we talking like Pelicans and role players off the top of my head, like that's the first person.
Austin Rivers worked pretty hard. He just,
God, man, that turn left so fast.
Yeah,
that turn left so fast.
I think it's just about game at the end of the day, though. Like it's really a talent thing at the end of the day. You know, it's tough. Yeah,
Let's
it's tough,
see
man.
here.
Man, that dude high school mixtape was so crazy, bro.
Who that? Austin Rivers?
Oh my god, I probably watched
Yeah.
that shit like 1,000 times.
I think
You couldn't,
Stanley-
bro. You couldn't have told me that him and AD wasn't gonna be special, bro. You couldn't have
Yeah.
told me.
I thought that duo was about to be cold, bro. Like, but I remember reading a story one time. It might still be. I don't know how old it was. It was after Katrina, and they were talking about how J.R. Smith always late to practice, so Chris Paul got to go pick him up. You couldn't have told me J.R. Smith and Chris Paul wasn't about to be cold. The only difference is J.R. Smith was so talented, he could stick around the league for a few years. He just turned himself into a 3-and-D guy. Whereas Hawkins is like, I don't know, man. I hope it work out for the brother, man.
He got a shooter. He got a shooter or nothing else. The same, man. Like, you know, I don't want Hawkins to fail. I hope he can ultimately figure it out. And for what it's worth, I do think that he's playing better. I think he has a better relationship, obviously, with James Borrego. It's just, you know, what he has to do to be productive on the floor is just, for him, it's just tied for one thing, because he's not strong enough. He's not a good defender. He can't handle the ball. He threw a oop today, you know what I mean? But he's not a playmaker. It's all about him shooting the basketball, and it's a lot of pressure for a dude that has improved to be even a good shooter yet for a full year.
Oh, man, I still recall the conversation I had inside that Pelicans facility with the let's say a trainer.
Yeah.
And we were discussing Jordan Hawkins, and he was adamantly telling me like he should just be a shooter. And I'm like, no, if he's just a shooter and the shot fails, what else would you have? And he looked at me like, you know, one of those people that just be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't, you know, hey, bro, I get it. You play high level college basketball. I'm just telling you what I see. And sure as shit, look at us now. Yeah. Look at us now.
You got to think, Fob. Duncan Robinson, for example. Duncan Robinson got paid, and
20.
A bad year of shooting for him was like 37% from three.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this guy can't shoot anymore. But it's 37% on a high volume. It's not like, you know, but that's the, now he's doing a little bit more than he did in some of his bad years. A bad year for Jordan Hawkins, 33%, 30%. What's a good year? If Jordan Hawkins shot 37% from three, we might be talking about us. We might be having a different conversation about him. It might not be the same. It's tough for him to even do that right now. So for certain guys, man, like especially like shooters, it is important that you learn. And at a guard position, you know, when you're kind of, you know,
undersized,
like, yeah, you got to be able to do something else. Let's see. All righty. What else do we have here, man? We really got a whole bunch today. It's just ain't going crazy in here. We're just gonna go ahead. The only reason I listen to this shit is my season tickets were next to Justin's. Yeah, we have a small pie. You should check it out. Not no more.
Yeah. That Mexican 50, dog.
Thank you, my dog. Yeah, boy.
About like $2.
I just wonder what they're gonna do to get people in that building, boy. They gonna, cause that's another thing. If you're the Pelicans, it's so fucked up because the superstar era is kind of dying. You ain't really got like LeBrons and Stephs and Dame and all them dudes older now. So it ain't nobody like that really to trade for. You gonna have to kind of like get somebody and hopefully grow them into a star like Therese Maxey and SGA and guys like that.
Say, man,
boy, they better start
Chaz,
allowing plus ones.
This might sound crazy, like they might need a not a graphic designer, but remember Kanye was going to that rant. He was talking about Lady Gaga, like she had got the Polaroid thing. What he said?
Oh, yeah.
I like some of some of the Lady Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras?
What was her title? I'm trying to think of her title at the time. But essentially, like,
I don't remember. I like some of the Gaga songs.
But like, they need somebody just to not like necessarily like rebrand, but like reculture the Pelicans. Like, you better start selling towards the people here rather than, just selling a superstar. Because as we see, cats are in and out of lineups. They're healthy one week. They out for several months. Like, you can't base your business model on people that are in and out of the lineup, are unhealthy. That's not.
But it goes back to your point earlier about honesty. You have to be honest about exactly what you have here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the problem. Like you got this asset, and you keep trying to sell people that on like almost a limit. At some point, they got this, they got this. Well, you need to be honest, flat. Like, this is what we are. This will they're not even honest in the building with each other.
No.
So it shows to the people. They program each other, some of them inside the building. I didn't talk to enough of them outside the web. They tell me the same stuff that I'm seeing online. I'm like, God damn, y'all all think this way. You know what I mean?
Y'all want us this whole time?
It's just confusing, bro, because like for this to 100% work, somebody got to walk in and say, I don't know what y'all looking at, but this is a piece of shit. But it's okay. It can grow from this, but these are the steps that we have to take from here. You at ground zero. You looking at a girl across the room that's a 2. You ain't gotta treat her. See, I'm about don't
see you going crazy. Yeah. Creative director was the term I was looking for. That's what they need.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
That's why I think this situation really not that bad, bro. They just can't see the forest for the trees. That's why I'm like, when you zoom out and look at everything, you're like, all right, it's not a bad situation. This is how, but you got to fix it one thing at a time. Yeah. And I think the messaging has been on board from Joe Dumars from the standpoint, I'm not trying to build a team just around Zion. Even if Zion was Zion, I'm not trying to build a team just around him. That's not how you win no more. Like, we're not really seeing that in the league no more. So it's just about hitting on your picks, man, hitting on these trades. And I just don't think they can afford. They need a like the beam type.
Yeah,
aura.
That's what I mean.
That's what they need. I don't know what the equivalent of that would be. But like, we're on fire. I don't know. It'll be something, because the won't buy down era was fucking whack.
Dog, that's what I was just about to say.
It was god awful. But guess
all
what,
that shit is whack. Like, all that shit is wicked, whack.
We were a big part of what the rebranding was, though.
Right.
And then, like, I mean, we were there. We gave the start, the lighter, the flick. We gave the opportunity for it to grow. We went through all of it to what, like, yo, this is what you really have. Now build.
Yeah.
And once again, I think that too many people involved thought that they were still that the team, the future, the things that they had were better than it actually was. And it was coming from the messaging down, the people that were making the decisions, the people thinking that 49 win team, was capable of beating anybody in the NBA. So you continue to have these thoughts of settling for these mediocre expectations or player situations, and you keep holding on to shit longer than you should. Oh man, I really like that door. You know what I mean? Like, I've had this. Yeah, that's a great, and then you don't get rid of it until it falls off the hinges. You know what I mean? They should have got rid of Willie Green years ago, but they held on to him because, for whatever reason, same with Brandon Ingram, same with some of the other mistakes that they made. They gotta be honest about this shit, even if it's not a piece of shit, even if it's better than if you see it from the perspective that Chaz does. And look, Washington would love the Wizards would love to say that they got Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears right now. They would, their situation.
Shout out to Trey Johnson, man. I hope you bounce back, dog. But fuck, that's crazy.
but they gotta be honest, man, because otherwise you just gonna keep repeating the same mistakes, doing the same shit, selling people the same stuff. And the thing about people that watch this show, that's here, we read through all that shit. We know when bullshit in front of us. We know when you trying to play us. We know when you not showing your full hand. We know when you kind of like Then people in Sacramento, Chaz, y'all mentioned it perfectly. They had something that built that it wasn't cliche, it wasn't corny. It may have been corny to people outside, but for them, it was everything.
And they're still doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was unique. It's something that will never die.
Mm-hmm. They just don't got the room to make some of the mistakes that they make, dog. And I say this about like some of the fan base a little bit, like, damn, y'all don't watch other teams? Because somebody say something so crazy, though. No, I'm not even gonna repeat it.
Nah, say it though.
But man, somebody told me, it was like, y'all watching this? It was like, what they said? I think what they said. I think they said RJ. They said no. I think it was no one other player and Brandon. They were like, man, all those guys left there, all NBA levels. I'm like, you do not watch. I watch the Raptors like every game. I love that team. Like, it's a very interesting team. What are you watching, brother? Shout out to RJ Barrett. I hope you get better soon, though. But what are you watching? Like, no. Like, you got. But the issue is, the reason I brought that up is because it's like the Pelicans organization. I'm gonna say the David Griffin regime because Joe just got here, but it's like they don't watch other teams neither.
No, they don't, bro.
They don't watch basketball neither. That's the problem. It's like it's an echo chamber. You're so in tune with what you're watching, you've lost all objectivity. Like, no, bro. Like, no. You gotta zoom out a little bit and watch other teams and how they're building what they're doing.
You know what's funny,
beyond just the basketball court.
Go ahead. No. To that point, Chris, like, I had this idea a couple years ago. Like, if I'm the Pelicans in this situation, like, I'm calling OKC and I'm like, listen, I'm sending someone to come watch how y'all run your organization for a month or two.
Yeah.
And let me shadow and understand how y'all do this. Not from the, like, I don't need to see like the player development thing because, nobody wants to do that. But I'm talking about just from a fan experience, from a building a brand. Like, you're a small market team. I think New Orleans is probably more culturally advanced, way more culturally advanced than OKC. But it's night and day when you talk about basketball and the fan experience. So that's probably you should, right? Like, it would benefit OKC from a revenue standpoint, right? If, the Pelicans were to bring in more money, that's more money in the pot, right? Like, no one should say no to that.
In fact, I never even hear any about the Pelicans having scouts anywhere aside from like overseas. But I never really hear when you talk to other people like who cover teams, they don't never say, well, the Pelicans got some scouts in here in Indiana. Like, or at least you never hear about it. Maybe Griff played it close enough to the vest the way it never really got out. But shit, everything was getting out from that organization. From that regime. It got to the point where you like, we had, Chris was like, don't give me no more updates on this person, please. We have to change the name of the thing to no more updates.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hear no more about this person, please. Like, it got to that point where we was just hearing everything. But it's like, to Fah's point, man, the best way to get better is to do an apprenticeship, take on, to model yourself after someone who's successful in the arena you want to be in. But that take a lot of self-reflection and less ego, and hopefully we start seeing that with this new regime.
Well, I mean, look, man. I mean, I do agree with you guys that there's some shit to move forward with, but look, I mean, they as all like the next part of this rebuild or this retooling, it can be lost or won with either a move that they make or they don't make. Mm-hmm. This offseason or at the trade deadline or whatever the case may be. Like, it's just so, I'm hoping that they're taking notes along along this process and being like real about they are not a traditional 3-20 team. Most 3-20 most 3-20 teams right now can start thinking about, well, the draft class is coming in next year. And in some respects, if the Pelicans make some trades, they'll be able to get some draft capital and get back into the draft. But it's not based off of what their record is going to provide them. So, like Ross had been saying coming into the year, you got to be unique and a little different with how you approach some of this shit to get to where you ultimately want to get. Traditional isn't working for you. And traditional isn't what work for some of these up. You can't be traditional and in a small market surrounded by giants. You can't. You got to think different. You got to get lucky. You got to think crazy. You got to be delusional. And shit. That's all we want to see, man. So hopefully, look, man. We'll see what happens. We continue to kind of take some details in these games as they continue to lose. I think the Pelicans are back on the court
Saturday, right?
Play again. Who do they? I don't even know.
I think it's the Nets Saturday, I believe. Yeah, that dude MPJ going crazy.
Yep. Brooklyn, he is.
Brooklyn, MPJ. I'm not even talking about basketball. He just going crazy.
Off
the rip in the real world.
Yeah, for sure.
I seen a question somebody asked him.
He don't get no fuck.
Bro,
boy, you was wilding out.
You're supposed to write that down or whisper that, bro, or text it or something. Like,
you're supposed to make sure the cameras is off. Like, are you crazy? He wilding out.
Just a different guy.
He don't give a fuck. Guy. That guaranteed money, boy. He don't give a fuck.
Do it every time, man. Well, Ivory, I know you watching, man. We get to see your dog Danny Wolf Saturday, man. So we'll see.
Man.
We'll see how things go there, man. And our dog Yegor Denham. Oh, and starting lineup in Brooklyn, man. But appreciate all y'all pulling up, man. Whew. 500 plus people in here, man. I don't know what the likes ended, man. But shout out to everybody pulled up. Shout out to Five. Shout out to Chaz, man. Y'all like, comment, subscribe to everything that we doing. And we will holler at y'all as always post game. Did I lie to y'all and tell y'all we showed up after Brooklyn? I don't know if we showed up after Brooklyn, but we'll see. If they win, maybe, but probably not. But for sure, we gonna see y'all on Sunday. Y'all know where to find us then. So for myself, for Five, for Lito, for Lala on the ones and twos, we'll holler at y'all.